Hey, everybody. My name is Suzi. I'm an alcoholic and so happy to see you. Stephen, thank you so much for asking me to come and speak. And wow, look at all these beautiful faces. I got to come back to this meeting. I got to come back to this meeting. Anyhow, I am zooming in from Honolulu, Hawaii. This is where I got sober. This is where I was born and raised. But I will tell you that I lived in New York City for 22 years and just recently moved back to the islands in the middle of the pandemic. So it's been, quite a couple of years, quite a year and a half, as all of us have experienced this this thing that's been going around the world. But Stephen, thank you so much. My sobriety date is December 26, 1996. I've learned that that is the most important date of my life. I am sponsored by an incredible woman. Her name is Polly Pistol, and she's out of Jacksonville, Florida. My home group here in Hawaii is called A Spiritual Awakening. And my home group in New York City is a women's meeting called Save Her a Seat. We meet on 5th Avenue and 12th Street on Tuesday and Friday nights. It's a really great meeting. I'm very grateful to be sober. I'm very happy to be here. I want to start by just reading a little bit of daily reflections from yesterday. I wanted to read today, but I like yesterday better. So it's called The Gift of Laughter. When my AA sponsor began to laugh and point out my self-pity and ego-feeding deceptions, I was annoyed and hurt, but it taught me to lighten up and focus on my recovery. I soon learned to laugh at myself, and eventually I taught those I sponsor to laugh also. Every day I ask God to help me stop taking myself too seriously. Yes, every day I ask God to help me stop taking myself too seriously. So my story is really not very different from yours. The details are probably a little different or greatly different, but it got to the point in my life where I could not face another day or another week without having at least just a sip of champagne or a sip of alcohol or a sip of white wine. I was one of these crazy snobs, these wino snob people. I had a subscription to Wine Spectator magazine. Don't you know who I am? And, for a long time that just continued. I had absolutely no idea what was wrong with me or what was right with me. But thank God to Alcoholics Anonymous, to coming to my very first meeting in October 1996. My very first meeting was the Saturday night speaker meeting at the 1996 Hawaii Convention. And I had absolutely no idea what recovery was about, what AA was about. I thought you guys were just a bunch of weirdo loser people that didn't know how to handle your liquor, that you lived on park benches and trains. I had absolutely no idea. I thought you guys were just the fringes of society. But today in 2023, you are all my best friends. You guys are the center of my life. Without you, I have no life. I do know that, because you guys taught me how to live. You guys taught me how to be honest for the first time in my life since I was a little girl. You guys taught me how to look at myself through the steps of AA, through inventory, all of the things that we do here. And so I was born and raised in a very strict Roman Catholic family. And, throughout the years of living in New York City and being around a lot of Irish Catholics, they're pretty hardcore, but also Filipino Roman Catholics are very hardcore, Spanish, Philippines. And my mother, God bless her heart, she ruled the house with an iron fist. And because I'm the eldest child, I had two younger sisters. I have two younger sisters and a younger brother. If they misbehaved or if they didn't get a high enough grade on their tests, my mother would take it out on me. And, that's just the way it was in our household. So hatred of my mother, of the church, of the commandments, rules and regulations, and starting to despise God, started when I was very young. I just couldn't figure out why God would let this happen to me. But so I lost myself in books. I was this real bookworm. And I was one of these people that always sat in the first or second row of class. I wanted to be teacher's pet, and, just really dove in to my studies. And, in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, it says God gave us brains to use, right? And we are very smart people. We're very smart people. We can really apply ourselves in business or whatever we apply ourselves to. But on the flip side of that, we can really party hard. That's what we do, right? So I had my very first drink at the age of 15. I was invited to a party, and back then in Hawaii they called them socials. Friday, Saturday night, where all the kids get together at somebody's house. And I remember this like it was just yesterday. I was sitting on the floor. Well, it's Hawaii, everybody's sitting on the floor, cross-legged. And that night, there was this giant thing. It seems like a giant thing of tequila that was going around the circle. And I had never had anything like tequila or vodka or anything like that. I did have a sip every once in a great while off of my father's beer. So my father had probably about 3 or 4 jobs because we were all in Catholic school. But every once in a while, he would have a beer. And because I idolized my dad, I would sit at his feet, and he would, this is at the time of the pop tops, these aluminum cans. And he would pop open this beer, and he would take that first sip after work, and he would go, ah, and his face would just light up, and I would think, wow, what is that? What is that? So getting back to that party when I was 15, that was my very first drink. I looked at the bottom of this bottle, and at the bottom of this bottle, there was a worm in the bottom of the bottle. And I thought to myself, well, Satan, here I come. So I took that first sip like it was just yesterday. I can feel it. My whole throat warmed up, my chest opened, and I felt so warm and fuzzy. And then guess what? I took a second sip. And, that sense of ease and comfort that comes over us when we take that first drink, like what is so eloquently described in the doctor's opinion. A couple months after that, I found myself at another party, at another social. And that is where I had, now I know, because I am a sober member of Alcoholics Anonymous, my very first blackout. I drank a little bit too much. One of these senior boys threw me over his shoulders and piled me in the back of, I think it was a Toyota Corolla or something with my girlfriends. And we're all tipsy and giggling, and it's a Friday night and we're just feeling so happy and buzzing around and stuff. For a long time, drinking was social, and going out to these little parties with my girlfriends, with my friends, was just social. But we couldn't do that much because we're in Catholic school. We have to be good because God is always watching for us, watching out over us, and we cannot sin. We have to be good. So we can have a little bit to drink, a little bit tipsy, but we can't like overdo it. So quickly what happened is that because we suffer, I suffer from the disease of more. I want more love. I want more acceptance. I want more material things. I want more of what you have. I want more compassion. I want more hugs. I want more everything, grasping for straws out there, outside of my family, outside of the church. I got pregnant when I was 15 years old. My mother could not handle that. So she kicked me out. And I had to go live at Salvation Army Home for Unwed Mothers at a very nice suburb here outside of Honolulu, in Honolulu. And that is where the self-hatred, the hatred of God, the hatred of my mother started with a vengeance. And that self-hatred just very, perpetuated itself over the years, until I first came to you at my first meeting. I am so grateful that I followed my gut and I kept my child. I went back to school, graduated with my peers. And what happened is that the father of the child quit college. We got married when my son was 5 months old. He joined the Navy. And now all of a sudden, I'm around much older people, these officers and, these other people. We would go to the clubs at Pearl Harbor, Hickam Air Force Base, and I learned how to drink like a lady. And I learned how to drink like a Navy wife. And back then, in the state of Hawaii, I'm sure it's the same now, even though you're 16 years old, you can get into any club and any disco as long as you are with your, legally, your husband. And in steps 4 and 5, in the 12 and 12, it talks about how we had absolutely no idea how to have a relationship with another human being. So we would go to these clubs and discos, we'll walk in the front door, he would go his way, I would go mine. Sometimes I wouldn't see him for days. And we had this, little boy at home. And I had no idea how to be a wife. I had no idea how to be a mother. I just followed my instincts. I knew that I had to take care of my child. And so what happened is when my son was 3.5, my husband came home and he says, well, I'm out of here. I'm not into you anymore, this marriage thing. So he took my Camaro. I had a beautiful silver Camaro. He took my Camaro. He took my brand new furniture and he left me with the kid and bills. And so this piled on more fuel for my resentment and for my hatred. This time for marriage and for men. And I thought to myself, I will never get married ever again if this is what marriage is about. And I was trying to figure out, why would God let this happen to me? So all of these things that happen in our lives, these things that happen in my life, is the fuel for my future alcoholism. My daughter was born about 8 years after my son was born. I said to myself, I would have her by myself. No man is going to tell me what to do. So here I am. I'm a single parent of 2 kids. I'm full-time at the University of Hawaii. I'm cleaning houses. I'm, learning how to keep it all together. But when I can escape from my responsibilities and drop my kids off at my parents' house, I would fly away. I'd fly to Las Vegas, Beverly Hills, San Francisco, Dallas, or another island, and drink and misbehave, for a couple of days, and then fly back to Oahu. And the anger, the resentment, the guilt and shame that I carried, that we carry, these are the things that I drank over. But because I am a single parent, I couldn't take it too far because I had to take care of my kids. No matter what happened, I had to take care of my kids. There were many times over the years that I would try and figure out how long I would have to keep it together until I could succeed in ending it. Now, I knew I didn't want to do it with a gun because it's just way too messy. I couldn't really figure out how to hang myself. But one day I remember I was in Acapulco visiting a boyfriend, and I was unsuccessful at trying to slit my wrists in the shower because I could not break open that plastic razor. So I was like this chicken suicide person. But that self-hatred just, kept on festering, and no amount of mass, no amount of confession, no amount of prayer could take away that self-hatred, that resentment, that shame, or that guilt. And I just had to hold it together, that quiet desperation, just hold it together until something happened. I don't know what it would be. So I wanted to share this one thing that happened when my husband left me, when my son was 3.5. I was very desperate and broken, and I thought for sure that my life had ended or was going to end. And I fell into the clutches of a religious cult, and there was no drugs or alcohol in this cult, but there were some very sick and twisted things. And because I was very devoted to the leader of this cult, he used me to demonstrate before these other cult members that I was loyal. So I would allow him to beat me. I would allow him to do things because, I just wanted to be loved, and I just wanted to be accepted. So the reason why I share this is because this is one more thing that would be the fuel of my future alcoholism. So back to God gave us brains to use, right? And so I'm so grateful that God had put these wonderful opportunities in front of me, and I began to learn about the business world. I got a really incredible opportunity working for a Japanese company. And so I had to learn business Japanese very quickly. I'm one of these people that really loves to learn, and I'm a very quick learner. And so, these things, made me feel really good. They just really, boosted, my life and my ego, whatever, look at me. And I got to my very first meeting of AA, of Alcoholics Anonymous, at the 1996 Hawaii State Convention as a result of a first date with somebody that I had met. And he was traveling across the United States on his Harley. And we started talking on the telephone, and we talked on the phone for 4 months. And he said, well, I'm going to be back in Honolulu for 3 days in October. I'd like to take you out. And I said to him, like, okay. I forgot what he looked like. This was before cell phones. I mean, before smartphones, with the cameras. I forgot what he looked like. And he says, yes, I would like to take you to dinner with 2,000 of my closest friends. I thought, weirdo. So my first meeting was the Saturday night speaker meeting at the 1996 Hawaii Convention. And I had no idea what this was all about. But the speaker that night was Angie B. From East Los Angeles. And she told her story. And she planted the seed of AA. I still didn't know what does that mean. And then I found out that you don't drink. I'm at the Sheraton Waikiki. It's a Saturday night, and I'm looking for the maitre d' or the waiter with the thing of champagne. Okay, it's a Saturday night. And I found out that you don't drink. So I thought, well, what is this? Is this like some kind of like cult of not drinking? Like, what is this? This is not a business seminar. You're not teaching me how to make money or be successful in business or meditating on the rainbow or following a guru. You're asking me not to drink. Kind of weird, but okay. So slowly but surely, you worked your magic on me. And I was so taken by your stories of how you resurrected your lives from the shattered ashes of your life. You showed me by sharing your experience, strength, and hope that you rebuilt your lives and stayed sober no matter what. And for somebody who was such an accomplished liar, cheat, and a thief, I thought, wow, I mean, what do you want from me? So I'm so grateful for your love. I'm so grateful for your acceptance. I'm so grateful for your compassion, because you just kept loving me and you just kept telling me, Suzi, it's going to be okay. Just keep coming back. Just keep coming back. So, my sponsor, Polly, she's just the most amazing example for me. I have a couple of sisters on here that I see them. Hi, Marilyn. And, she shows me that no matter what happens in my life, I don't have to drink over it. I go and I be of service. I pick up the phone. I take inventory. I go and pick up my butt and take it to a meeting. Or now, flip open your laptop and turn on Zoom. Go and be of service to somebody else. And ask God one day at a time to please keep me sober and in service. So, I'm a happy customer of AA for sure. I will tell you that in 2023, that kid that I had all those years ago now has 5 kids. He's got 5 kids, and I'm a sober grandma. my eldest grandson is in his second year at NYU, majoring in economics. I mean, wow, I could have missed it all. I could have missed it all. So I'm just so grateful that God, in his infinite wisdom, asked me and led me to the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, because this is the center of my life. Here in AA, I learn how to live one day at a time. So Stephen, thank you so much. I really appreciate you asking me to come. And I'm so delighted to meet you. And that's really enough out of me for today. And thank you so much.